There is a place on her body that has nothing to do with desire, nothing to do with lust, nothing to do with what most men imagine when they hear a title like this one. And yet, when she lets you reach that place, when she doesn't pull away, when she softens under your hand instead of tensing up, something has already shifted inside her that most men will never understand. This isn't about seduction. This isn't about moves or timing or knowing what to say. This is about something she decided about you long before that moment ever happened. And if you don't understand what that decision was, you'll keep losing women who are almost yours. Let me explain. Most men think attraction is built through effort, through proving themselves, through doing enough, saying enough, showing enough. They believe if they just keep showing up, keep texting, keep being available, eventually she'll see their value and choose them. But that's not how it works. Not even close. A woman doesn't choose you because of what you give her. She chooses you because of how she feels around you. And those two things are not the same. You can give everything and still make her feel nothing. You can say very little and still make her feel safe enough to let every wall come down. That's the part most men miss. They focus on output. She focuses on presence. And here is where it gets uncomfortable. The reason she pulled away from you, the reason she stopped texting back, the reason she seemed interested and then suddenly went cold, it wasn't because you weren't enough. It was because you were performing instead of being. You were trying to earn what can only be felt. And she knew. Not because you told her, but because her body told her. A woman's nervous system picks up everything. Your hesitation, your overeagerness, the slight change in your voice when you're unsure of yourself, the way your energy shifts when you want something from her. She doesn't analyze it. She feels it. And the moment she feels that shift from grounded to grasping, something inside her steps back. Not because she's cruel, not because she's playing games, but because her instincts are doing exactly what they were built to do, searching for safety. Real safety. Not the kind that comes from promises and grand gestures. The kind that comes from a man who is unmoved by uncertainty. A man who doesn't need her reaction to feel whole. That is what this video is really about. Not a trick. Not a technique. A shift in here when you're standing next to her. Because the part of her body I'm going to tell you about, the one that changes everything, it's not a location you can aim for. It's a permission she gives when she has already made a quiet, invisible decision about you. A decision most men never earn. Not because they aren't good enough, but because they never understood what she was actually looking for. And what she's looking for is not what you think. She's not looking for the man who tries the hardest. She's not looking for the man with the best words. She's looking for the man who makes her body feel like it can stop protecting itself. The man whose presence tells her nervous system, you can relax now. When she finds that, she doesn't just stay. She opens. Slowly. Carefully. In ways most men wouldn't even recognize as signs. Because her signs are not loud. They are not obvious. They are not the things you've been taught to look for. They're quieter than that. Much quieter. And if you stay with me through this entire video, you will begin to see those signs everywhere. Not because I gave you a cheat sheet, but because you finally understand the emotional language she's been speaking this whole time, the one no one ever taught you to hear. This is not about chasing her. This is about becoming the kind of man she doesn't want to walk away from. So stay, listen closely, and for once, let the understanding come to you instead of forcing it. Because what I'm about to show you isn't just about women. It's about the version of you that's been buried under all that trying. Before I tell you about that one specific place on her body, you need to understand something about how attraction actually works inside a woman's mind. Not the surface level version, the real version. The one that operates beneath every smile, every glance, every silence she gives you. A woman's attraction is not a switch. It's not something you flip with the right compliment or the right date. It's a process. A slow, layered emotional experience that builds or collapses based on one thing, how safe she feels in your presence without losing her curiosity about you. Read that again in your mind. Safety and curiosity. Those two things together. Not one without the other. A man who is safe but predictable becomes a friend. A man who is exciting but unstable becomes a warning. But a man who is grounded, calm, and still slightly unreachable, not because he's playing games, but because he has a life, a center, a sense of self that doesn't revolve around her, that man becomes someone she can't stop thinking about. And when that happens, her behavior starts to shift. Not dramatically, not in ways she announces, but in ways that, once you understand them, you will never miss again. The first shift is mirroring. She starts reflecting you, not copying you, matching your energy. If you're calm, she becomes calm. If you lean back, she leans back. If you pause before speaking, she starts doing the same. This isn't conscious. It's neurological. Her brain is syncing with yours because, on a deep level, she feels aligned with you. She doesn't decide to mirror you. Her body decides for her. And the only reason her body makes that decision is because your energy feels stable, predictable in the right way, not boring, anchored. The second shift is the dropping of her guard. This one is more visible, but most men misread it. When a woman starts telling you things she doesn't tell other people, not to impress you, not to test you, but because she simply feels like she is showing you something sacred. She's handing you a quiet truth about herself and watching what you do with it. If you rush past it, she notices. If you try to fix it, she pulls back. But if you simply hold it, calmly, without flinching, without turning it into a lesson, she exhales. And that exhale is everything. The third shift is protection. This one surprises most men because they're not looking for it. When a woman starts defending you in rooms you're not in, when she corrects someone who misrepresents you, when she quietly refuses to let anyone reduce who you are, she has already claimed you inside her mind. She won't say it. She might not even realize she's doing it. But she is building a wall around your name, and she only does that for men who have made her feel something she doesn't want to lose. The fourth shift is the one that brings us closer to that part of her body I mentioned. She starts seeking your presence over your attention. There is a massive difference between a woman who wants you to notice her and a woman who simply wants to be near you. The first one is performing. The second one has already decided. When she stops trying to be interesting around you and starts just sitting quietly, existing without effort, choosing your company even when nothing exciting is happening, she has crossed a line inside herself. She feels safe enough to be boring around you. And that, for a woman, is one of the most vulnerable things she can offer. Because women are taught that their value is in their energy, their beauty, their ability to hold a man's attention. So when a woman lets go of all of that around you and simply exists, she is telling you, without words, that she trusts you to stay even when she's not performing. These shifts don't happen because of what you say. They happen because of what you don't say, because of the spaces you leave, the composure you hold, the patience you carry without wearing it on your sleeve. And all of these shifts, every single one, are leading somewhere. They are leading to a moment where her body will tell you what her words never could. That moment is closer than you think. And it has everything to do with the most vulnerable part of her she will ever let you reach. Now let me tell you about the remaining shifts, the ones that happen right before she crosses the final line. The fifth shift is respect for your silence. Early on, when a woman is unsure about you, silence feels like rejection to her. She feels it. She questions it. She wonders what you're thinking and whether the gap means something is wrong. But when she's emotionally invested, silence changes meaning. Your silence becomes something she respects, something she doesn't try to fill. She sits with it. She lets it breathe. Not because she doesn't care, but because she finally trusts what lives inside that silence. She knows you're not pulling away. You're just being still. And she finds peace in that stillness because she's found peace in you. The sixth shift is emotional alignment. This is where she begins to feel what you feel, not because you told her to, but because her emotional world has started orbiting yours. When you're troubled, she senses it before you speak. When you're at ease, her body relaxes. She starts carrying your emotions alongside her own, not as a burden, but as a bond. This is not codependence. This is resonance. And it only happens when a man has created enough emotional stability that her system begins to sync with his, naturally, without force. The seventh shift is nurturing. And I don't mean in a domestic sense. I mean in the way she starts caring for your well-being in small, almost invisible ways. She remembers what you said about your week and follows up without being asked. She notices when you haven't eaten. She adjusts her plans around your rest. She doesn't announce these things. She just does them. Quietly. Consistently. Because when a woman has emotionally chosen you, taking care of you stops being effort and starts being instinct. Now here's where everything connects. When all 7 of these shifts have happened, when she mirrors you, drops her guard, protects your name, seeks your presence, respects your silence, aligns with your emotions, and nurtures you without being asked, there is one final thing she does. One thing that tells you, beyond any doubt, that she's already yours. She lets you touch her face. Not her hand. Not her shoulder. Not her waist. Her face. The face is the most identity-bound part of the human body. It's where she is most seen, most exposed, most recognizable. It's the part of her she protects, presents, and controls more than any other. When a woman lets your hand rest against her cheek, when she doesn't flinch as your fingers brush her jaw, when she closes her eyes and leans into your palm, she is giving you access to the part of herself she guards the most. This isn't about physical attraction. This is about surrender. Emotional, psychological, nervous system level surrender. She is telling you, with her body, that she feels safe enough to stop protecting herself around you. That your hand on her most visible, most vulnerable surface doesn't trigger defense, it triggers peace. And most men will never experience this. Not because they don't deserve it, but because they never created the conditions for it. They rushed. They pushed. They tried to take closeness instead of letting it arrive. Now let me speak directly to you for a moment. If you're watching this and something in your chest feels tight, I understand. Maybe you gave everything to someone and she still left. Maybe you were the one who showed up, who stayed, who tried, and it wasn't enough. Maybe you're sitting with the confusion of doing everything right and still ending up alone. You are not weak for caring. You are not foolish for trying. But somewhere along the way, you stopped holding your center. You made her your focus instead of your equal. You abandoned yourself in the name of love, and she felt it. Not as devotion, as pressure. Not as generosity, as dependence. That's not a flaw. That's a pattern. And patterns can be broken. You don't need to become someone else. You need to come back to yourself. The version of you that existed before you started performing. Before you started measuring your worth by her responses. Before her silence became louder than your own sense of self. That man is still in you. Quiet. Waiting. Not weak, just buried under all the noise. Here's what most men never hear, so I want you to listen carefully. Chasing does not build attraction. It dismantles it. Slowly. Quietly. And by the time you realize what happened, she's already gone, not because she didn't feel anything, but because your pursuit made it impossible for her feelings to grow. Attraction needs space. The same way a fire needs air. Smother it and it dies. Feed it too quickly and it burns out. But give it just enough room, just enough stillness, and it grows on its own. This is not about playing games. This is not about ignoring her or pretending you don't care. It's about being honest enough with yourself to stop performing and start existing. To let your presence do what your words have been trying to do. To let silence carry what over-explaining never could. When you stop chasing, something shifts. Not just in her, but in you. You start to feel your own ground again. Your decisions become clearer. Your emotions stop swinging with her every response. You become the man she was looking for before you started trying so hard to be him. And here is the part no one talks about. When a man becomes still, truly still, not as a strategy, but as a state women notice. Not because stillness is loud, but because it's rare. In a world full of men who react, who over-explain, who flood inboxes and apologize for things that don't need apologies, a man who is simply present without being desperate becomes magnetic. Not because he's doing something, but because he's not doing what everyone else does. That's the real power shift. It doesn't come from learning what to say. It comes from no longer needing to say anything at all. It comes from trusting that who you are, in silence, in stillness, in patience, is enough. And when she feels that, When she looks at you and sees a man who is not asking for permission to exist in her world, something deep inside her softens. Not because you won, but because she finally found what she was looking for, a man whose identity doesn't depend on her staying. That's what makes her reach for your hand first. That's what makes her lean into you without thinking. That's what makes her close her eyes when your palm rests against her face. Not your effort, not your words, your stillness. So let me ask you to rethink everything you've been taught about what it means to be a man in love. You were told to pursue, to prove, to earn. But no one told you that the most powerful thing you could ever do is stop trying to win her and start returning to yourself. Not a louder version of yourself. Not a colder version. The version that has nothing to prove. The version that walks into a room and doesn't scan for approval. The version that speaks only when his words carry weight and stays silent when they don't need to. That version of you doesn't chase. He chooses. He doesn't beg for attention. He offers presence. And he doesn't measure his worth by whether she stays or goes, because his worth was never hers to decide. This is not about becoming untouchable. This is about becoming unshakable. There's a difference. One is armor. The other is foundation. And women can tell which one you're standing on the moment you walk into their life. So tonight, before you put your phone down, before you scroll to the next video, sit with one question. Don't answer it out loud. Don't rush past it. Just let it settle somewhere honest inside you. Are you still trying to win her, or are you finally ready to come back to yourself? Because the man she can't walk away from was never the one who chased her. It was the one who was whole without her. And that man is not someone you need to become. He's someone you need to remember. If this changed something in how you see yourself, stay. There's more here that was made for you.